Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the NFL quarterback plays for Draftkings Week 6 main slate on Sunday. Got a big week of games. Really no games where it's going to be just like a ton of high scoring like we've seen in the past. I mean, no Dallas, no Seattle on the slate, so that immediately just takes out a ton of scoring. No Chiefs either, so I mean, that's just going to make, less scoring games, but there's still some great quarterbacks plays we got to get into. Kind of like it a little bit more than I have in the past where we've gotten these just massive scoring totals, but we'll see what happens. If you're new to this channel, though, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm only 2 subscribers away from 300, so it's a nice little milestone for me. Hoping to get to like 500 by the end of the year, so just kind of trying to keep growing. So thank you guys for your continued support. I noticed hopefully this week I will get those last 2 to get to 300 and maybe even get a little bit more, so we'll keep going. If you want to get more of my content, you can always subscribe to my Patreon. I'll put the link in the description below. For $10 a month, you're going to get like articles for every single position, along with rankings for cash and GPPs. You're going to get stack rankings, injury notes, and some more, so be sure to go check out all that stuff over there. But I think that's really all I got to say on that. Let's get into the video. We're going to start out with one of my favorite quarterback plays of the week, Deshawn Watson, Houston Texans, $7,000 going against the Tennessee Titans, who play tonight, so we don't really know what their team exactly looks like, if there's any injuries. Hopefully that won't happen, but Deshawn Watson looks pretty good. When we go look at the offense versus defensive line matchup, it's going to end up coming out as a very positive spot for Deshawn. Actually the most positive one out of all the quarterbacks I'm into this week. The Houston Texans offensive line really hasn't been as bad as people make it out to be. I mean, like, it's been horrible in the past, but like this year it's had some bright spots. I mean, outside of like 1 or 2 positions on an offensive line, it's been pretty solid, and the defensive pass rush for the Tennessee Titans has been bad. Outside of like Jadeveon Clowney, it just has not been good at all for them. They just haven't been able to get rushing on the quarterback. It's just not a spot where they've just been very, very good at, but so it's not something I'm really too worried about for Deshaun Watson. Looking at the wide receivers for him, he has Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, and Randall Cobb. They're going to be going up against Malcolm Butler, Jonathan Joseph, and Chris Jackson in the slot. It's going to be overall a really positive matchup for those guys as well. I mean, Malcolm Butler just really isn't the same, or really ever was, honestly. He really was never like that shutdown corner. He's really number 2 on his team, and Dory Jackson continues to be out. So with him out, I mean, Malcolm Butler takes on the number 1 spot. Going to be guarding mostly Will Fuller, and that's just a mismatch for Will Fuller size-wise and just how good they both are. So definitely a spot to attack is Will Fuller and the Deshaun Watson stack this week. Jordan Akins is the tight end. He's going to be going up against Rashaan Evans and Jayon Brown, although Jordan Akins missed last week, so we'll see if he's in, or Darren Fells. But they don't really use tight ends that much. I mean, Darren Fells did score a touchdown that much last week, but still nothing to be too concerned about. When we go get the overall offense versus defense, a very, very positive spot for Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. Right now there is no line, but I honestly made my own guess at a 50. It's probably going to be a little lower than that. I really have no clue how to make guesses on that, but I don't know what the line's going to be, but it's going to be like a relatively high line just based on what these 2 teams have had this year. When we go look at the DVP, Titans have been the 14th best team to attack with quarterbacks all year. The Texans are not favored. They won't. I mean, again, there's no line. They will not be favored in this game. I can tell you that much. They're not good. Titans are a very, very good team. 4-0 or 3-0, going for 4-0 tonight. So they won't be favored in this game. But yeah, Deshaun Watson definitely someone to look to go after. I mean, just not a really great defense. It should be a higher scoring game. I do like when I start liking the weapons, I start liking the quarterbacks. So like Will Fuller, I like Brandon Cooks a little bit again, but if he's going to be popular like he was last week, I'll probably fade. Didn't work out for me last week, but popular Brandon Cooks was someone I just did not want to be on, and he went out for like 36. So yeah, we'll see what happens this week. But Deshaun Watson, definitely one of the quarterbacks I like to target this week. Ryan Fitzmagic, baby, the cover boy on this video, is up next. I absolutely love Fitzmagic, just one of my favorite players in the league for years. $5,900 going against the trash Jets. When we go look at the offensive versus defensive line, it's going to be an overall positive matchup, or actually, I'm sorry, a slightly negative matchup for the Miami Dolphins. There's a bad offensive line there, but it's nothing like too negative where I'm really just a little any sort of bit concerned. I mean, just it's the Jets, and they're not good. The wide receivers for the Miami Dolphins are Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, and Isaiah Ford. They're going to be going up against Pierre Desir, Lamar Jackson, who not the quarterback. Lamar Jackson, like cornerback, who got cut and then re-signed from the practice squad. Lamar Jackson, if Wes Austin misses again, and then Brian Poole. That's going to be a positive matchup for those receivers. You have Mike Gesicki, who's pretty much just a slot receiver, but Neville Hewitt and Avery Williamson are the linebackers. That's going to be a very positive spot for Mike Gesicki. And then you got Bradley McDougald and Marcus May are the safeties. It's also going to be a positive matchup for the receivers and Fitzpatrick himself. Overall, we get a positive matchup for Fitzmagic, but the reason I really like him is just this Jets defense. This Jets secondary is really, really bad. We've seen teams torch them all year long, and now you get Devontae Parker going against Pierre Desir has been bad. The Jets really haven't allowed that many points to quarterbacks this year, but not a lot of teams throw as much as Miami. I mean, they're just going to be lighting it up. So Fitzpatrick, definitely someone I like in only 5,900 is a really good cash play for me. Tournaments, I mean, I think he's fine. We'll see if he gets popular. If he's not popular, definitely someone to attack. He was really cheap last week, and that was a good tournament play to have last week for me. Or not, sorry, not really cheap. He was he was cheap, but he was really low owned, and I went there for stacks. And I mean, yeah, it wasn't a winning stack, but it was a good stack to have. So Fitzpatrick, definitely someone I have some interest in this week. Definitely someone I want to get some attention to. Ryan Tannehill going up against the Houston Texans in another side at matchup. Assuming that they play, I don't know why they would move this game. I mean, I could see moving it to Monday, honestly, just because Titans play tonight, but I don't think they will. $5,900. I think they would have announced it if they would have. $5,900 for Ryan Tannehill against the Houston Texans. When we look at the offensive versus defensive line, it's going to be a positive spot because, I mean, Titans' offensive line's elite. Like, it's really good. They have one of the best offensive lines in the entire league. Texans' defensive line isn't good. Not a good pass rush unit at all. A.J. Brown's back. I'm really excited to see him play tonight. Then they got Nick Westbrook and Khalif Raymond because Corey Davis and Adam Humphries are both out with the COVID. I don't know if they'll be back next week, but for now, I don't think they are. So those are your other two receivers, which is not really great for Tannehill. So if you're doing Tannehill stacks, man, oh, I mean, you can throw Jonnu in there too. But, I mean, it's A.J. Brown. I mean, he's just going to get all the targets. I think he's going to have a massive game tonight anyway. And I think this is a spot where he could, because the cornerbacks in Houston are bad. Bradley Roby is fine, but then Hargraves and Lonnie Johnson are garbage. Then you got the tight ends, Jonnu Smith going against Zach Cunningham and Tyrell Adams. Bernardrick McKinney's out for the season. So that's going to be a nice matchup there. Zach Cunningham, I think, might be the worst linebacker in coverage in the league right now. So Jonnu Smith looks to have a very positive matchup there. And Eric Murray and Justin Reed are the two safeties. So you're going to have Ryan Tannehill and his weapons going up against that. Tannehill's never someone that's, that explosive. I don't know if I really ever want to make Tannehill stacks. I mean, he's just not going to be a quarterback that's going to have that much of a ceiling, especially at 5,900. But I definitely like him a lot in cash games. He just seems to he's got a nice little floor in a spot where they're going to be playing against a really, really bad secondary that teams have just torched all year. But more from the receiver side. The receivers score a lot of points against this team. Only the 21st best ranked defense against quarterbacks at the moment, although that will go up when I upload stats in tomorrow for Gardner Minshew's team. So Gardner Minshew had a very good game. So Ryan Tannehill, definitely someone I want to get some exposure to a good bit. I think he's a very, very solid option, especially in cash games. Matt Ryan going against the Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be the highest total game on the slate. $6,600 Matt Ryan. He's just been a horrible, horrible letdown so far this year. It's just been a shame to see, but hopefully you can pick it up. Like, if you're going to pick it up against a team, the Minnesota Vikings is definitely someone just with a horrible secondary. When we go look at their offensive versus defensive line matchups, you're going to see that the offensive line for Atlanta has a very, very nice positive spot here. Defensive line for Minnesota has just been horrible this year, just horrible. Right now, I have the receivers at Calvin Ridley, Olamide Zaccheaus, and Russell Gage. We'll see if Julio comes back. If Julio comes back, obviously, it's a major upgrade for Matt Ryan. If Julio isn't back, I'm not so sure how much I really want to get to Matt Ryan stacks. I want to get more to just Calvin Ridley in this game. And I don't really, those other two receivers are just not going to have a ton of interest for him, but Ridley's just really, really good. When we go look at the corners they're going to go up against, though, Cameron Dantzler, Holton Hill, and Jeff Gladney. So you're going to have Calvin Ridley against one of those guys? Yeah, sign me up for that. He's just going to absolutely torch them. One of the best route runners in the league. Doesn't have a problem really with a lot of corners backs. So you're going to get Cameron Dantzler. Yeah, I'll take that all day. So Matt Ryan's got a really nice spot there. When we go look at the tight end, Hayden Hurst, who hasn't really been too utilized, and honestly hasn't really been that good either. It goes up against Eric Kendricks, Eric Wilson, Hardy Nickerson. It's going to be a slightly positive matchup for Hayden Hurst there, and it's really only because of that third tight end. If Eric Kendricks, oh my god, I did not mean to do that. Crap. Oops. Let's get that fixed. Okay. That was alright. I'm just gonna keep going. I don't really care. But where was I? Hayden Hurst. I mean, if you take out that one tight end, that one linebacker, like, it's just a horrible matchup for Hayden Hurst. Those are really good linebackers. So Matt Ryan, I wouldn't go there as much. I like going to Calvin Ridley if you're going to stack. Anthony Harris and Harrison Smith, good safeties that he's got to go up against. But still, overall, really, really positive matchup for Matt Ryan. mostly because of the wide receivers. You have a total line right now of 57. It's the highest total game on the slate, and they are not favored. They're supposed to be playing from behind. Minnesota's allowed the 16th most amount of points to quarterbacks. It's really going to be more if Julio comes back. If I really want to get stacks Matt Ryan this week. But I think for the most part, this is going to be a game I want to attack, especially and probably more on the Minnesota side than anything. But Matt Ryan's still something I want to get some exposure to. Definitely not going to go there for cash because it's too expensive. But in tournaments, definitely Matt Ryan's stacks look pretty solid. Matthew Stafford for the Detroit Lions going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars this week at $6,300. Yeah, I mean, this is a spot where he looks really good. Everyone's looking good against Jacksonville. Their defense is just garbage. When we go look at the offensive versus defensive line, it's going to be a positive spot for Stafford's offensive line. Not fantastically positive, but it's positive. Pass rush for the Jacksonville Jaguars really isn't that good outside of like Josh Allen, who missed last week. So if he misses, that's just going to be even better boost. But, I mean, I have him in right now because he got ruled out last second. I expect him to kind of play this week. Obviously, we'll wait for injury news. It's only Tuesday. We'll know more about that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll know that'll be a huge boost. The wide receivers for Stafford, Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola. They're going to be going up against Trey Herndon, C.J. Henderson, DJ Hayden. Another one, C.J. Henderson, DJ Hayden both missed last week, so we got to be sure to be on the lookout to see if those two are going to play this week, because if they don't, especially the Henderson one, that's a major upgrade to those wide receivers, and I definitely like to attack it there. I mean, we saw Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller just light them up last week, and Fells. Like those corners just got destroyed against Jacksonville or against Houston. So, I mean, now you're gonna get Kenny Golladay, who's just better than them anyway. So who should be able to torch them? Marvin Jones was probably gonna go under the radar this week, and he could be someone to look for. So Stafford stacks definitely like going there. T.J. Hawkinson is the tight end. He's got Joe Schobert and Dakota Allen and Miles Jack. Missed last week. We'll see if he misses again. That's going to be a big hit, although he really hasn't been good this year. That's going to be a very positive spot for TJ Hawkinson. And then Josh Jones and Andrew Wingard, who also missed last week. If he is out again, that's going to be a big hit. He's been a pretty solid safety this year. So overall, it's going to be, even with all the players that I just said might not miss, I didn't even say I still have them in this little thing right here, and it's still the best or second best matchup overall on the slate. Another best matchups on the other side. Right now, this game is at 52.5, second highest game total on the week. But I think this is the game that really shoots out. This is the game. This is my favorite game to attack this week. I absolutely love going there. I think Stafford's in for a big game at some point this year, and especially those cornerbacks are out too. That's going to be just even better for Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. I think they could have some massive games. They are favored. Jacksonville though has allowed the 13th most points to quarterbacks this year. So definitely want to get some looks at Matthew Stafford. I think he's good for cash. I think he's good for tournaments. I think he's good for everything. Definitely I think he's my favorite overall quarterback play on the entire slate, to be honest. Definitely love going to get some Matthew Stafford. Kirk Cousins got priced up this week. I was a little bit disappointed in that. I was hoping he'd be below $6K, but he's $6,100 because, I mean, it's just Kirk Cousins, and he's not, this is a running team now. Dalvin Cook did get hurt. If he were to miss, I still think to be the running team because Alexander Madison is very, very good. I mean, he's not Dalvin Cook good. Like, Dalvin Cook's just, like, elite, but Madison's good. They'll still probably run the ball a ton. That's what their offense is. Going up against the Atlanta Falcons, this is the only really offense versus defensive line match I'm a little worried about. Atlanta's defensive line really isn't good, but they do have Grady Jarrett, and Grady Jarrett is very good. But the Minnesota Vikings just have like the worst. I think they have the worst offensive line in the league. Or no, I'm sorry. How could I disrespect the Cincinnati Bengals like that with the worst offensive line ever, period? Sorry. Second worst offensive line in the league, in my opinion, is this Minnesota Vikings defense. They're not good pass blockers at all. But the wide receivers, you got Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Chad Beebe. Really wouldn't worry about Chad Beebe that much. He's not really utilized at all. But Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson have been absolutely elite this year, soaking up a ton of usage. They get to go up against this week Isaiah Oliver, Jordan Millard, and Kendall Sheffield. Maybe rookie A.J. Terrell's back, but like he's not good. Like they just have bad cornerbacks playing for them right now. And you're going to get Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson matched up against them. Justin Jefferson just coming out as like looking like one of the best receivers in this class, this elite receiver class, and he's probably in the top 3 right now in my opinion. The guy just looks absolutely insane. Adam Thielen, we know what he brings to the table, just a very, very good, consistent wide receiver. So if you want to go to Kirk Cousins stacks, I understand that. When you go look at the tight end, Kyle Rudolph, who isn't going to be utilized, not really worried about him at all. Keanu Neal, Ricardo Allen are the safeties, and I mean that's going to be a positive matchup for Kirk Cousins. Overall, we get a nice positive matchup for Kirk Cousins. Atlanta's allowed the 3rd most amount of points to quarterbacks in the league so far. That might even go up this week after Teddy Bridgewater. The line's at 57 right now. They are favored at home, which is probably more in line for running backs. We're going to be very interested in whoever the starting running back in Minnesota is this week. I can guarantee you that. We'll talk about that tomorrow in a running back video. Yeah, I mean, this is a spot where I mean, just the passing, you attack Atlanta from the passing game. Like, Kirk Cousins, I don't ever really stack Kirk Cousins, but I think I'm stacking every quarterback who plays against Atlanta this year just because their defense is just horrid. So, definitely a spot I definitely want to get after is this Atlanta-Minnesota game, and I think Kirk Cousins stacks may look pretty solid. Next quarterback we're going to talk about is Gardner Minshew the second, $6,400 against the Detroit Lions. The other side of that game that I really, really like, just because I think both defenses suck. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Both defenses are bad, and yeah, okay. Offensive versus defensive line matchup, it's going to be a positive spot for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you don't get a lot of positive spots for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Offensive line is not very good, but this Detroit defensive line is bad. Defense just overall is bad. Right now I have DJ Chark in, but DJ Chark got hurt last week. Missed a game, killed me in fantasy. Thanks a lot. But what you going to do? If he were to miss, then obviously Laviska Shenault moves into number 1 spot. Then you probably have Chris Conley move into the wide receiver 2 and Keelan Cole into the slot. That's going to make this a very, very cheap stack because Laviska Shenault and Keelan Cole are not that expensive. But if Chark plays, I mean, of course, he's DJ Chark. He's a very good wide receiver. Like, he's just very good at football. One of the most underappreciated wide receivers in the league, in my opinion. Just needs some consistency at quarterback, and I think he's going to be very good. Just another Jackson wide receiver like Allen Robinson that's just getting wasted there. So, anyway, DJ Chark looks, I mean, I like this stack. I like going to any wide receivers that are there, but mainly Chark, Laviska, and Keelan Cole. If Chris Conley gets moved in, I mean, maybe I'll throw him in some stacks, but like it wouldn't be without one of these other two in him. I wouldn't just do a straight up Gardner Minshew, Chris Conley stack. When we go look at the going against the corners, oh crap, I put the wrong corners in. Okay, that's going to be Desmond Trufant, Jeff Okudah. They're not good. This is going to just be overall a spot where I'm going to want to attack them because the Detroit defense is just, it's bad. Like, they're not good. Their safeties aren't good. Their corners aren't good. Their linebackers aren't good. Nothing about this defense is good. This is a 52.5 game total. Detroit Lions have allowed the 12th most points to opposing quarterbacks this year. This is just a spot where I want to get after. I mean, Jacksonville's not favored. They're in a spot where they're going to be playing from behind. Gardner Minshew is going to throw the ball a lot. He brings us some rushing upside as well. I definitely like stacking DJ Chark and Laviska Shenault with them. I mean, yeah, I didn't put the names in. I guess I skipped over that one. I really didn't notice that, but it's whatever. This is still going to be, it would still end up being a really positive matchup. I know this Detroit defense very well. It's not good. But this game script's really what I like, and I like the fact that the Jacksonville defense the Detroit defense is just very, very bad, and so is the Jacksonville defense. So, like, both these teams should score a lot of points, and I don't think either of these offenses are bad. Like, the Detroit offense isn't bad. The Jacksonville offense isn't bad, but their defenses are horrible, and this game could end up being a shootout, and I honestly would not be surprised if it's the highest scoring game on the slate. We'll close out with Brady against the Packers. I'm really not as interested in Brady as the rest of these guys on this thing. I just wanted to, put him in there because I think he has sneaky upside here if his receivers are playing. But we go look at the offense versus defensive line. It's going to be positive. I mean, the Tampa Bay offensive line looked horrible Thursday night, but for the most part this year they've been elite, one of the best in the league. And Green Bay has a good pass rush. I mean, Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, pretty solid rushing defense or pass rush, but still not anything really to worry about. Mike Evans, Scotty Miller, and Justin Watson right now are who I have in as receivers, but who knows what's going to happen. Mike Evans is still kind of hurt. We saw Tyler Johnson play last week, and he looked really good. I wouldn't be surprised if he just takes over as number 2 guy while Godwin's out because I just think he's good. They drafted him in the 5th round, was the highest graded receiver in college by PFF last year, so he's a very good wide receiver. So I definitely like going to Tom Brady against Tom Brady stacks with Mike Evans, Scotty Miller. Rob Gronkowski. Oh wait, Jair Alexander is the cornerback. He's been shut down this year. Like just elite cornerback this year is Jair Alexander. But Mike Evans is good. I'm not gonna just fade away from him just because of that. I mean he did shut down Ridley. If Godwin's back, I don't think Godwin's gonna be back, but if he is back, then I think that makes Chris Godwin elite, and Mike Evans probably just someone to look after otherwise. But Brady's gonna have to throw the ball to somebody, if Mike Evans is healthy, I think he's fine. I'm not really too worried about it. And Kevin King might go on him because Mike Evans is a big wide receiver. Rob Gronkowski's at tight end, going against Chris Burns and Ty Summers. He really isn't utilized that much. I'm not really too worried about him. But overall, this game is 51.5 game total. I didn't put Rodgers on here because Rodgers is the second most expensive quarterback on DraftKings, and Tampa's defense secondary is very good. So I was like, and their pass rush is good. So I was just like, I don't think this is really a spot for Rodgers. I don't think that's someone I'm going to be going after. But Brady on the other side, I don't think Green Bay's defense is as good as people think it is. outside like one or two players. So I think this offense matches up well if they're healthy. So we're going to have to wait on injury reports, see if I'm really interested in Tom Brady. If all those receivers are going to play, if we hear Tyler Johnson's going to get more snaps, then yeah, I'd like going there. But I think that's really all I got to say on the quarterbacks this week. We'll get out the running backs tomorrow, receivers Thursday, and tight ends Friday, top stacks Friday as well. So be sure to check all that stuff out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Be sure to check out NASCAR stuff coming out too. Great rest of your week. I said weekend. It's great rest of your week. It's Tuesday. Have fun watching Sunday Night Football tonight. I mean, great game. Buffalo, Tennessee. But yeah, thanks guys.